Check the yes box. Sign the day timesheet now. During May term, when you're doing this over the next couple of weeks, if there's time in between touching timesheets and you don't get to it, and you forgot to sign it, no bueno, okay? So sign it now. Every time you touch a timesheet, make sure you see that it's been signed. What is your EMPL ID? That's your student ID number. I mean, I know this isn't rocket science, and I feel like I shouldn't have to go through this with you, but it is a little weird and confusing looking, okay? What is the date today?
19.
It is exactly, thanks. Wow! So, on the right-hand side, there's a bunch of dates. For the 19th. Is anybody working 2 hours right after this? Brilliant. So you'll put from 3 to 7 p.m. Why? Because we screwed up and didn't have to fill out a timesheet 2 weeks ago. Normally you would not overcharge hours. Hint, hint. Don't overcharge hours. Go ahead.
What if I was at 2 so I would 5, right?
You were at
Team lead training.
Those are at team lead training, the first training session.
Yeah.
2 hours.
I was not at.
Yeah, if you're, no, don't fill this timesheet after that.
Right, I know, so I put 5, right?
If we were 2 hours, if we were at team lead training instead of advisor training, we don't get paid for team lead training.
Correct.
So we
It
put
just
3 to 5, right?
3 to 5. I'm sorry, when you said 5, I meant 5 hours.
Oh, no. 3
Yes, 3 to 5.
5.
Everybody else, 3 to 7. If you were in team lead training, 3 to 5. Under the, okay, so does this make sense to you where it says program name? What is the name of our program? A&R is all you gotta write. All right, you came in to work at 3. You are leaving at 7, technically. How strange. Normally it'll say 5. All right, say it's during A&R and you took a half-hour lunch. It's 12. You would put the next column for in, you'd put 12:30. Okay, you see how that, it really, I mean, again, it seems so obvious. All right, now, this is the humdinger of the century. If you work for 8 hours, you put the number 8 under total. But wait, this is the confusing part. What if you can only stay today for an hour and a half?
1.5.
Right. What if you can only stay for an hour and 15 minutes? 1.25. I love when people do this. No, okay? So it's in quarter hours. I'm perfectly happy to pay you for the quarter hour, okay? So if you can round up sometimes, but you can never round up more than 8 hours a day. So if you work at 7:50 and you're done, and that was a 7-hour and 15-minute day, you can round up to 8. But if you round at 8:01, I'm going to have you round down to 8, because long story, overtime. So total number goes in that column on the right. Now comes what most people find to be extremely confusing. At the bottom, all you have to do is fill in your total hours. So program name. Lord. We're not going to do that section today because you need your record number and you don't all have that yet. But put your hours, total hours worked, do this section here. So that section that says total hours paid, which will be 4 unless you're team lead 2. We'll make up those times later. Supervisor verification. That's it. That's all you have to do. That section. Makes sense? A&R is always your program name. Do things in quarter hours. Life is full of great. Make sure you sign it. I lied. How convenient. On the back, they have given you the programming combo code. So at the bottom, your program name is Advisor Registration. So you would put the program name at the top, which is A&R. Then the combo code is that ridiculously long string of numbers. I'll put it up here so it's a little easier to do that. Over here. 1, 0, 2. Wow. Okay. Here we go. I know. There's 5 zeros in there. So it's
So I go to work Saturday.
Is that how you're getting paid?
Do this right now.
Yes? Then go ahead. Most of you are under Maine, not work study. Anybody else work study? No, I don't think so. Okay, cool. Any questions so far? Okay. When you're done with your time, you're welcome to turn it in. It's like, oh my. Pass to the middle, to the middle, that way I don't have to grab things and then. Sorry to take up some of your time, Vince. I just wanted to do that. Okay, let's hold on. Yeah. We'll deal with that when you're done. Has anybody not been to see the very nice woman named Lisa? If you're new to payroll. Awesome. Okay? I swear I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm going to sit with that.
Alright, so we're going to start off today. Vince Repish, our parent program coordinator, just talking about 10 to 15 minutes about what he expects from us for parent panel things in general.
Thank you, too. How many of you were in TA training when Loretta and I came and spoke? Okay, I'm not talking about that. Okay? My name is Vince Repish. I work in the Students in Transition office. I take care of all the parents on this campus. All right? How many are freshmen? Okay? When you came and registered and we separated your parents from you, I'm the one who had them all day. Okay? How many of you got a letter from your parents about a month into school? Anybody? I told them to write. How many of you, on your way home, your parents are asking what kind of grades you expect to get? I told them to do that too. All right, so you can blame all that stuff on me. I'm a parent guy. My past, I was a high school counselor, I was a college football coach for many years, ran an upper bound program, and I've been doing this for a few years. My job is to handle parents when there's a major problem. And that's what I do. Now, some of you are going to be parent panel. You're going to go in front of the parents. Have any of you done that before? You did. It's the scariest thing in the world, isn't it? You're going to get up in front of 70, 80 parents. And I tell you, after you've done it once, it's the most fun thing you will have of this whole process. Forget what she says, forget what they do. My thing is the best. Okay? So, that's really important you know that. Secondly, if at any time, no matter what you're doing, if you see me and I need help, it's usually a major help. I need somebody for a parent or some sort. Just remember who I am, okay? Because a student's crashing or a parent's crashing. And that's what I do. All right, when you do the parent panel, it'll be 4 to 6, something like that? 4. When you come in, it's crucial. There's going to be 2 different times. So you may get burned out. You're either going to be there from 10 to 10:30 in the morning or 2:30 to 3 in Montague 70. All right? I expect you to get there a little earlier. When you walk in, please be quiet. Okay? Because parents hear everything you say. Secondly, make sure you turn this thing off. Because I do a long talk about the parents to turn their phones off. Okay? I do it a lot. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're dressed. I'm sure they're going to talk about being neat and clean and all that. Take a shower so you don't smell. If you wear a cap, take it off. Because I want parents to see you. Don't dance. How many of you are dancers? Okay, by don't dance when you get up in front of all these parents and you're doing like this. Just sit and be cool. Alright? It's going to be nervous. Alright. You will be entering, coming in, and I will wave you down to the front. When you come down to the front, you're going to line up, and I'm going to ask you to give introductions. And to begin with, it's going to be a little bit scary. And I'm going to want you to say your name, your major, where you're from, what activities you are doing on campus. Are you working? Now, I guarantee you that 75% of you are going to say, hi, I'm Joe. And they're not going to say Joe. Hi, I'm Joe. I'm a sophomore here at UMD, major in English. I'm going to make fun of you because you're all from UMD. I wouldn't be bringing somebody in from St. Scholastica. You'll be nervous. All right? I'm going to want you to talk as much as you can about, are you in jazz band? Are you in theater? Are you on the school? Are you ready for the statesman? Are you in a sorority fraternity? Are you president of whatever and ever? Are you an athlete? I want you to tell this to the parent. Okay? And then, after you do that, I'm going to say, parents, it's your call. And the parents are going to ask you questions. Now, there's always going to be one in the group that are going to try and answer every question every time. Okay? I don't want that. All right? I would like everybody to answer the questions. If you're an expert, answer them. But there's always one person. I had one young man last year that I used to sit in the back and go, because there was a couple girls that were pretty shy. So make sure everybody answers. Okay? Another thing. Talk like me. Speak up. If you're in theater or comm arts, I know right away. Because you'll be doing this. Alright? Now, I took speech 3 times in college. I'm an extremely shy person. I really am. Nobody doesn't know it. When I went into coaching, my coach says, you have to take speech. I failed it twice because I never went. I went the first day and I was afraid. And now I've given talks all over the place. So make sure you talk loud. And I will tell you to. When the parents ask you a question, I would like you to repeat it. Alright? You don't have to do the whole thing because some of them may be going wild on it, but repeat the question. Because not everybody in the room is going to hear that. And then when you answer, be positive. Because we're still trying to sell parents on UMD. And the other thing is, like your parents were, these parents are scared stiff. They're leaving their honeys, their loved ones at UMD next year. You understand? I take care of the helicopter parents. That's what I do. Your audience, when you come in, and this is so true, when you're on, you're on. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you broke up with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. When you're on, you're on. When you get in front of these parents, you have to be on. Now look at Travis up there. All of a sudden you start getting professional. You don't have to dress like that. All right, but make sure you don't have a white belt. But
That's right back today.
all right, good. Because when the people in front of you will be CEOs of major corporations. I've had the president of Winona State College. Okay? I've had numerous principals, superintendents. I had the head of the Minnesota Highway Patrol. I've had numerous police chiefs. So what I'm saying is when you get done and you present yourself, I've had numerous parents come up to me and say, who's that young lady with the reddish, whatever color hair it is? It's something, okay? With a nice smile. What is she majoring in? Did she say she was going into English education? I've got an opening. And they do that. Can I make it any more clear? I really want, last year there was a young lady that was looking for a job so bad. And I kept saying, sell yourself when you get in front of the parents. You know what? One day after a parent program, she got hired by Target. Because the vice president of Target was in that office. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to make me look good, and you're going to make yourself look good, and I don't want Jen to be mad at me. Okay? Because she won't. Okay, I've had Chancellor Martin, who was here before. Her relatives were in the audience. I've had numerous vice presidents, parents here. We have a lot of people from the Twin Cities that come up here, from the U of M. So, I'm trying to push the point, and I really mean that. Do a good job. Look professional. All right, some of the questions that you have to... Can I help you? You're interrupting me again? I'm late by 5 minutes because somebody up there. Okay.
Minutes.
Huh?
You have plenty of time.
You got 5 minutes.
I'm on a mission. I have to leave.
Oh.
I'm going to the Bahamas. Okay. I got to speak at Thief River Falls tomorrow, and then I'm going to Bahamas. All right. a parent, or should a student have a car? What do you think? First year, should they have a car? Why? When should they have a car? Okay, but what would be a good reason for a student as a freshman to have a car? Off-campus job. I've just been working with a real bad one. His dad was really getting on me because his daughter had to sit outside the mall for a half hour because the taxi wouldn't pick him up, and she was mad at me at Bulldog Taxi. And I told him, just like I tell her, I don't own Bulldog Taxi, but we got to take it here. So, should they have a car? You're going to have to know about parking permits. Where do you get a parking permit? Okay, how are there spots?
Depends on the day.
Okay, dormitory, apartment, are there spots?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to challenge you to know how much they cost, because I'll forget. Okay, I'm old and I forget a lot. So one of the things a lot of students say about cars, if you get a car, you will have a lot of friends. Until there's a snowstorm. Right? And then they all disappear. So make sure you tell the parents, do your kids know how to change a tire? Do they know how to jump a battery? Do they have a show? Okay? And some parents, the same guy was really mad at me because I told him not to bring a car, got her not to bring a car. So it is what it is. What other modes of transportation can you use?
Bus, taxi, walk.
How much does DTA cost?
Free.
All right, have any of you gone on a DTA and gone down to the Holiday Center where it's scary as hell?
Yes.
I go down there and get my hair cut, but you'd be amazed how many of those scary people are professors here on campus. Don't tell me. All right? So you got the DTA. The bus drivers are very, very helpful the first couple weeks, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Jefferson Bus Line, how many of you taken it? Is it cool? Is it good?
Yes.
How much does it cost?
Is that like 40 one way?
Okay, if you buy the ticket 2 weeks earlier, it's a discount. And on Fridays and Sundays, it's the Express. They still give you a snack and a bottle of water and a movie. Okay. All right, the other thing, I don't know if you know, you only can take one bag.
No, you can take one underneath and one carry-on and then anything after that.
That's one bag.
No, it won't.
It's like the airlines.
Well, a book bag.
Yeah, you know why they do
You
that?
can have one big bag underneath and then you can
I'm going to
have
send you
one
back to
bag.
Nebraska. You keep talking. Thank you. You know why they do that? Because students on spring break were trying to empty their dorm room and take it home. Okay, Bulldog Taxi, how much does it cost? Plus tip, and the more students in there, is it cheaper?
Yeah.
Okay, it's cool. All right, which dorm is the best to live in? Why? You know what I heard when they opened that? This is a true story. I heard 3 freshmen in the elevator, and they're going, God, I wish we would have got into Annie. Did you hear they have fireplaces in every room? Story. I'm looking to say what? That would have been legal liability. Whatever room is the best, or whatever one you lived in is probably the best. Where's the best place to study? Anywhere but your room.
Yeah.
How's that? Anywhere but your room. Meal plans, what's the best?
They're changing it.
They changed. We don't know them yet, but they're all new next year.
Okay, once we find out what's new, it's going to be 150. Okay, I'll find out.
The 150 is now like,
It's like
it's,
10 meals a week.
yeah, it's 10 meals a week for 15 weeks. So it's 150 meals, it's just not any time. And then the 19 and 14 are still the same.
Oh.
Brian Turk has it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Admissions there.
Okay, sorry. If the student is living in the apartments, do they need a meal plan? No. What depends on what? No.
They know how to cook food.
You have to. The apartments, you don't. You can get a meal plan, but it's very spendy. If a student wants to get a meal plan, I usually tell the parents, just get a lunch. And that means $90. Because if you go and pig out in the dining center, or Grace, you're not going to want to come back and eat after. Okay, none of you have done this. Is there drinking in the dorms? Everybody drinks. How about smoking dope? No, nobody does.
It's not allowed, but it happens.
All right? Make sure that these things. Because a lot of these parents have blinders on, they have rose-colored glasses, their kids will never drink. Yes?
Do we, okay, like, do we have to lie necessarily?
No,
Or
no.
is it just the fact of we need to make it better in a way? Because like, yeah, drinking does happen indoors, so how do you want it to?
I guess what I'm saying is, I want you to be honest,
Okay,
but I don't want you to promote the party.
okay.
Just say that it happens, but you can choose not to.
And what's going to happen is when parents start asking you questions, they're going to go on a tangent. They're going to about cars or meal plans. If they get into drinking and smoking, I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
All right? And if there's a question, all right, how about this one? Do they do abortions in the health center here? They don't?
No.
Okay. Do they counsel girls on that? Do they get the day after pill there?
Yes.
Do they hand out condoms in the hallways? All right, I'm just throwing these out, okay? And if you get up there and you're going da-da-da-da, and it's something stupid, I'm going to jump in. And that was a stupid question. All right? I understand why, but I will jump in. Roommate issues. Is it hard to... Did any of you had a roommate from hell your freshman year? Did you kill him? Did you bury him? Or what did you do? Of course you know that when you have a roommate that's bad, you have to move. And the parents hate that, but that's my job. Make sure you just let them know that. First you go to the RA. The RA is the best source. Then you go to the housing, and then change. All right? 95% of room change requests happen the first month of the school year. All right? Because you've all had a private room at home with your own bathroom, and now you're living with a stranger that snores like a fireman, and she's still a nice girl. Okay? And you're going to have to get along. And I had a roommate from hell. How often should the parents call their kids? Skype them.
Twice a day. Once a week.
You text your mom every day? Okay. Anybody else? How much? What drives you nuts is you get out of class and you're texting your parents right away. It is up to the relationship with mom and dad. But you will hear, if you listen to my talk, I had a mother, a young lady that came into our office 4 years ago. She was bawling her eyes out because she had lost her phone, freshman. And I said, here, she had to call her mother, here, use my phone. She goes, no, you don't understand, I got to call my mom. I said, call your mother. Proceeded to tell me that she talked to her mother for 10 days of school 10 to 15 times every day. And the next morning she was having her first major test at 10 o'clock in the morning, and her and her mother were going to plan out the rest of the day that night and the next morning before she took her test. I don't have to make these things up. These are true. All right? And I called the parents in and we did a little separation anxiety, and I'll never tell people not to call their kids. But you have to say, I had one student, if I don't call my dad every Sunday, he'll kill me. All right? You all know you'll call your parents when you need them. But we want to get that separation going. So, you talk to your mom every day, that's fantastic. Okay, when my daughter was working in Rochester, I called her every day at 5:30. And she'd say, Dad, you're a helicopter parent, I want to talk to my grandson. Jobs, are they hard to get?
No.
Where's the best place to get a job on campus?
SIT.
Thank you. SIT, rec sports, labor. Didn't know that food service is the best place. If you live in the apartments, you get a job in food service, you eat for free. What should parents do or not do with their kids? What's one thing you'd like your parents to do? Besides giving you money? Space? Space. What else?
Sending mail.
Mail. Care packages. You can say clippings, photographs. Stuff like that. When they come up, you want to take them out for dinner, obviously. Yeah. All right. Should students bring up games? Video gaming. 52-inch plasma TV? But you know, if you have the 52-inch plasma TV with the gaming room, what are you going to do every Monday night in the fall? Everybody's going to be there. I get stories on that too. Getting involved. How hard is it to get involved? Bulldog Welcome Week, that's self-explanatory, but where can they go for help? Where's the best place if they don't know where to go, what to do to get help? SIT office. Mental, physical, health services. Academics, the advising office in their collegiate unit. If they're in doubt, come to us. Come to our office. I'm doing this real fast. The last thing is that when you're on a parent panel, I highly would like all of you to sit in and listen to my talk right after. Because I do a parent talk for 50 minutes and I'd like to get your feedback. Because I talk about youth, drinking, gaming, study, all kinds of stuff. I would like to get feedback from students to make sure I'm saying the right message. But when you are done with your parent panel, I'm going to stop you with about 3 minutes left to go. And we'll see if the veterans remember this. And I'm going to talk about writing a letter to your son or daughter. And I'm going to talk to the parents and I'm going to say, I would like you to, tonight, get home and write a heartfelt letter to your son or daughter. Tell them how proud you are of them starting their UMD career, journey. Talk to them about how proud you are, how they've grown up, how much you love them, how much you're going to miss them. And then I'm going to say, and put it in an envelope. With money.
With money.
With what?
With money.
With money. And you scream, with money. And I will tell you, you're going to be standing up here, and there's going to be mothers and fathers starting to tear up. And they're going to tear up. And when you say money, it's going to go from one extreme to the other. They're going to laugh. And then I'm going to talk about you like money, and I'm going to talk about care packages and stuff like that. But I really want to do that. And then the next thing is I'm going to talk to them about another letter. Anybody get this one? 2 weeks before the first semester finals. Did you get that? Did you?
Yeah.
And I talked to the parents about writing your son or daughter and tell them to really get after it. We're very proud. We're looking forward to knock out the finals because a lot of times freshmen, if you've done that, they get close to the finals and they're almost ready to go home and they stop studying. They think, I got an A going into this class. I don't have to. So I tell them to write a letter and knock them out how they're looking forward. And then I also tell them to put in there, now, I don't know if you did it or not, ground rules. What time is curfew when you get home? Will you drink? Can you drink? Can you smoke dope? Can you smoke cigarettes at home? Are you going to have to shovel? Or are you going to have to do the dishes? Or are you going to have to do laundry? All right? Or whatever. Just because I tell the parents, you have been free spirits. You're now coming back to their domain. Okay. Any questions? I did this in a big, big hurry. What did I miss?
I think you're good.
Anything else? Ladies, gentlemen? I promise you, you're going to have fun with my thing. But you did it a few times, didn't you? Now you're a big time. Now you're a big time. All right? But it is fun, and I have a lot of fun with it, too. This year's going to be a little different. Oh, and the other thing is, if parents, sometimes they want to ask questions after. So I will do it. Parent panel always gets the highest evaluations of the parent panel program of any. Okay? Now I get to drive the T-for girls. Thank you, James. All right. It's all yours, Suzanne. All right. It's about time you were waiting for me.
So next we have CLA up. They're going to talk to you about their expectations on their day. If you have your computer and you want to open up their manual from the Moodle site, you can. Otherwise, just follow along.
Actually, it's probably easy if you just follow along. If people have their laptops up, you might, find yourself mediating. Never. I'm just saying, I'm on Facebook right now. Oh my God. Kidding. I wish.
I'm kidding, right?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Keep any laptop? While you guys are doing that. Do you guys all know I am. I'm me. Who don't I know officially? Who haven't I met before? Sadie. Hi. Lauren.
Mason.
Mason. Emily.
John?
John. Oh, John. Hi. Hello. How are you? You were friends with Mitch Jensen? Yes. Oh, please. You all have to know by now there's nothing I don't know about the things that go on in UMD. Excellent. Good. Nice to meet you finally. Cello, right? Chris. Anyone else? Okay. So, yes? Is there? No. Good. Alright. So, I run orientation programming here at UMD. I'll run advisor registration. Bulldog Welcome Week, and sometimes I'll teach UMD seminar. Things you need to know. The reason I'm having you introduce yourselves to each other is we're going to spend a lot of time together in a very short, intense period of time. So it's like Bulldog Welcome Week times 3, without as much exhaustion, yes, but also not as many icebreakers. So it's like the shirt every day. What was it? I wear the same shirt every day. You are going to wear. Well, we'll give you 2. So wash and wear. We'll build that eventually. So I just want you to start to understand that, like, when you come to training, start meeting the people next to you, because, like, we're going to have lots of time together in an intimate, not intimate. You know what I'm saying? CLA!
On that note, yeah, exactly. Where can we go from that on? So, hi everyone, I'm Suzanne Linden. I'm the Director of New Student Programs and Advisement for the College of Liberal Arts. I'm one of the professional advisors in the CLA Advising Office.
And I'm Addie Brickwig, and I work in the CLA Advising Office at the front desk, so I may have seen you all come in kind of at some point. But I used to be a student in your shoes doing the student advising piece, so love SAT, love it, love it, love it. And you are wonderful human beings, and I appreciate you.
And Addie likes advisement and registration so much that we scooped her right up to help with our advisement and registration process in CLA. So have any of the other collegiate units been in to talk about their advisement and registration process? We're the first?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, ours is the best way, and you'll just learn that, and then it'll work really well for everybody. Good. So we're going to just talk a little bit about our expectations and hopes for advisement and registration, the ways that we're going to support each other in this process to make a welcoming, productive, feel-good kind of experience for our new students. And so we have just a few goals for advisement and registration. We try to boil things down to its very essence because we know we only have a half day with our new students. And so we've got to focus on what's most important. So our goals for advisement and registration are that students become familiar with their degree requirements. Not that they have to have everything memorized, like about their major or liberal education, but just the big picture. That they're able to identify some courses that match their interests and abilities. That they can then talk about how the courses they've picked fit into requirements. So I like students to leave knowing, I'm taking this course because it fills liberal education sustainability, and I'm taking this class because it fills my writing requirement. We hope students leave with about 14 to 16 credits of full-time load, and that they learn about some of the important academic resources here at UMD, their college advising office, the students in transition office, the tutoring center, places that students can always go for help, and then certainly can be referred to other offices from there.
Okay, so we'll kind of go through the picture of what our A&R session kind of looks like when you arrive to do the actual advising piece, what that'll be like. So first you'll come find me, and you'll check in with me, and I'll kind of give you some group announcements, the schedule of the day, who your students are going to be in your group, and then you'll have about 3 to 5 students in your group at your table. So depending on the day, you might have 3, you might have 4, you might have 5, depending on how that goes, but we never want it to go more than 5. And so then you'll be partnered and sitting kind of in a table next to where the professional or faculty advisor will be advising those students. So you'll meet with the students first, and then they will meet with the faculty or professional advisor once you've kind of done introductions and gone through some courses and things. So we'll talk a little bit more about what you'll be doing when you're sitting there in a little bit. And then basically once you're done checking in with me, then we go into the room where your students will be. And then you will kind of go up to the front, you'll be called to the front, you'll announce who your students are, go to your table, do the whole thing.
So our College of Liberal Arts students, especially for those of you that maybe aren't in CLA, in the College of Liberal Arts, we're home to UMD's majors in the social sciences and the humanities, languages, communication, things like that. We also have about half of our students every fall start out as undeclared students. So we have a lot of students in our college who are starting out undeclared, but that doesn't mean that they don't have any idea about their major. For some of them, it does mean that they are very wide open to all sorts of possibilities, or they have no idea. But then for other students, being undeclared means they have a lot of different interests, and they're just not ready to choose a major quite yet. And some of them may actually have interests in majors that are in a variety of different UMD colleges. So we'll have about half of our students will fall into that boat of undeclared. And then we'll have a small group of students who are not admissible to the Swenson College of Science and Engineering, which has slightly higher admission criteria than the other 4 collegiate units at UMD. We may have a few students who did not get into Swenson, but they're going to start in CLA or in LSBE or CHSP, and then eventually, if they still want to down the road and they do well here, transition into Swenson. But that'll be a relatively small group of students. So our first thing that we do, students hear a presentation first from me and then probably from Gail. We talk about, some of it will be while their parents are still with them, and then after their parents leave, Gail will continue to talk a little bit. We talk about the liberal education program and why we think it's important, that it's not something to be gotten out of the way or a hurdle to have jumped over in your first year, that liberal education is actually a part of their whole 4-year experience. We talk about CLA majors, we talk about how we support students in exploring their majors and their interests. And Gail and I will also talk to the students as part of like a group presentation about the resources that are going to be available on all of your tables for you and the students to use. We have handouts, or a handout called recommended courses that basically says if you're thinking about a communication major, try one of these classes for fall. And we pre-screen the list of appropriate classes that are offered in the fall, that are good for first-year students, that double dip into liberal education. So it's really like a course list that you can't go wrong with. We talk about the liberal education handout and how they'll use that to pick out courses. We talk about how they make decisions about math and foreign language placement. So we'll talk to everybody about that in a large group setting. And for CLA, we'll have somewhere between 48 and 50 students a day, hopefully.
Okay, so basically when Gail is doing her little piece about all of those sorts of requirements and that sort of thing, that's when you'll be meeting with me. And then you'll go kind of to the back of the room, go up to the front and call up your students. So this is where kind of step 2 starts, is your small group. So then you go back to your table, you're going to do some introductions, get to know the people at your table because you'll be spending a few hours with them. And so then you'll kind of review some of the recommended courses that we have for them. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is recommending certain courses that, you know, if they have transfer credit, they're appropriate with all their transfer work that we know about. It matches some of their interests they've told us about already, about their liberal education requirements, and all of those sorts of things. So we'll have a handout for them with that information. So then you'll kind of go through, kind of have them talk a little bit about how they feel about some of their courses and have them kind of think about, you know, is that right for them or not? And then at that point, they can start looking at some of the scheduling type things. You know, if there's anything that they don't have, if they don't have enough credits for their recommended courses, and think, gosh, I really want to take a sustainability course and get that requirement too. I really want to do that. So then they can look at that course, and then they will then meet with their faculty advisor. So if they have some time, they can work out some of the schedule pieces too if they're feeling really good about their courses, and then they'll meet with the advisor. So we'll go over a little bit more about the timing too.
So our expectation is that at your tables that you will lead and help support students as they are starting to look at classes. And that's probably one of the times that they are most nervous, I would say. Because they don't want to make a mistake, they don't want to do anything wrong. These personalized course recommendations that we're going to be giving to each of them are going to be based on their responses to a survey that we send them ahead of time. So courses tailored for them and their interests. But they're still going to be nervous about choosing the wrong thing or making a mistake. We're not expecting them to do this on their own. We have you and the resources at their table, and all we're talking about is coming up with kind of a preliminary list of 4 classes that they're interested in. And we would like you to help them do that before they meet with their faculty advisor. That doesn't mean those are the final classes they will register for. It doesn't mean that they won't change their mind after they and their advisor start talking about things, but it's just kind of a preliminary list. Sort of like now how you go to see your advisor and you have a list of things you're interested in. You don't sit down and wait for your advisor to tell you, like, here's what you'll take. You go and prepare with some of your own ideas, and that's what we're talking about here. So when the students, so you're going to have a group of 3 to 5 students at your table, and then there's going to be a faculty advisor or a professional advisor like me who will come over and one at a time take a student, who might introduce themselves to your table as a whole all at once. But then one at a time we'll take a student back to our own table, which is a round table right next to yours, and we'll spend about 20 minutes with that student, talking about their interests, talking about their academic strengths and the challenges, the classes that they struggle in. We'll talk about the majors that they're considering. We'll talk about other things that they have going on in their lives that they need to plan around school, like work and family commitments. And we'll talk about what we know about their high school academic record based on the information that's in the faculty advising file. So based on all of that, all that conversation, we'll look at those lists of proposed courses that they've already come up with and offer our own advice and feedback. Well, if math is something you have to work harder in, let's make sure that your other classes in the fall are things that give you enough time to be able to give the time that you need to your math class so you can do well in it. If this isn't your favorite subject area, it doesn't have to be in the fall. That could wait till spring. So we'll give them our own professional advice and feedback about those courses that they've started considering. And also probably offer a couple more recommendations for courses as well. So we'll spend about 20 minutes with each student. And then when we're done with a student, they'll come back to you at your table, and I'll get the next student, or the faculty advisor will grab the next student and sit down and spend 20 minutes with them. So all the faculty advisors will have a file that says like students' high school grades, ACT scores, math placement, writing placement, those sorts of things. If they were admitted to UMB on a contract that maybe requires them to take a certain study strategies course or something like that. And so that's something that we'll have for each one of the students in addition to the students' responses to the survey. And by professional advisors, I mean advisors like me that work in the CLA advising office. You may know some of the other ones that work with me in Addie, Gail Menzel, Pam Spencer, Shelley Mann. All of us are not faculty members. We sometimes teach courses like UMB seminar or major in career exploration, but our main job is being advisors. And then we will have about 5 CLA faculty advisors there a day.
Okay, so once they're done meeting with their faculty advisor or professional advisor, they'll come back to your table. And the first thing that I always did when I was in your shoes was to say, how did everything go? How are you feeling about that? Are you feeling kind of nervous? And sometimes they'll just be kind of shell-shocked. So then you kind of make them feel better about that. Like, this is going to be great. We're going to figure out your schedule. And so as long as they're feeling good about the courses that they have, go ahead and they can figure out how to register. You can show them the registration tools, the class schedule, all those things that all of you know very, very well as students. And so then once they have their whole schedule done, they're all registered, good to go, then you'll probably have the tour and U-Card. Sometimes you'll be doing tour and U-Card before you do advising, just after the introductions piece. But most of the time, it'll be at the end of, they're all registered, good to go, let's go do tour and U-Card. So that's kind of how the end of the day looks like, the scheduling piece, and getting them actually registered.
So we ask that before they meet with their faculty advisor that you and sometimes we even have extra student advisors, floaters we call them, maybe moving around the room, that you help students kind of plan that preliminary schedule. These are the courses I may want to take, but they don't actually register for anything until after they meet with the faculty or professional advisor. And so, you can, and if there's lots of time before they see their faculty advisor, you can even help them work on mapping out courses into their weekly schedule before they go see their faculty advisor, but know that some things might still change. We used to have faculty advisors spend a lot of time trying to figure out how courses could fit together across the days of the week, but they're not nearly as good as that as you are because you're students and you do it all the time, so we figured that you're probably in a better position to help the new students be able to map out a weekly schedule that makes sense than the faculty advisor is. So they are not going to come back from their faculty advisor with everything mapped out. across the 5 days a week. That might be different in other collegiate units, but in CLA, that's something that we ask you to help students.
So we know you've got it covered.
Much better than our faculty advisors. So,
so this is kind of the piece that during your advisement piece, before they meet with their faculty advisor or their professional advisor, you'll help them find some courses and start mapping out a weekly schedule if they're feeling really good about their courses, finding the 5-digit numbers and finding times and all that good stuff. But then one of the things that you'll want to do is make sure that your whole group stays on task. This can kind of be a little bit overwhelming, so a lot of times what will happen is they'll be, you know, like, oh gosh, I don't, and they'll just stare at the paper for about 15 minutes. If you see them doing this, kind of jump in and say, hey, how's it going? You know, how are you feeling about some of your classes? Feel free to jump in and see how they're doing, because oftentimes they're just staring at the paper and they're really not sure where to go. So that's where they need your help. So make sure that they're all feeling okay and that they're able to keep going forward as opposed to just being stuck. And so if your students have any concerns or questions that you're not sure how to deal with, feel free to call on one of us. I, every day, will be wandering about, making sure everything's going smoothly for you, so feel free to call on one of us. And then, also the SIT staff will be around, yay, Jen, to do password resets and that sort of thing. Yes, you're doing password resets, yes?
yeah.
That's why I said you. And so she can handle the password resetting stuff, but if somebody is like, I don't know why I can't get into this class, I thought that I had this course transfer, but is it not transferred? Feel free to, you know, come flag us down. We're happy to help with that, so let us know.
To me, this keeping your group on task in a positive way is probably the key to the whole thing, because you may have one student in the group who feels like super confident and they get their schedule mapped out really quickly, and then I guarantee you, at least a couple times a week, you'll have a student who is just so overwhelmed that all they can do is sit there and look at the piece of paper, and they're hesitant to even make the first move. And so what I often do is just, well, let's just deal with one course at a time. You know, 5 classes seems kind of overwhelming. Let's pick out the easy ones first and start looking at those. So even if you can kind of, you know, just gentle pushes to get them moving, that makes all the difference in the world. Because, you know, for you it wasn't that long ago, you know, you worry about making a mistake. Am I going to screw up my 4-year college career? You know, I don't want to do the wrong thing. And so there's a lot of pressure, and their parents have probably told them, don't do the wrong thing. So, you know, it's setting that positive tone that we have a lot of people here to help you make sure that your fall semester class schedule is right for you. And that's what our goal is at the end of the day. It's not the same class schedule for everybody. It's the right one for the individual student. So to us, you know, our top priorities are that you can, better than anybody else, you as a student can show them how to use registration resources like the catalog, how to look up degree requirements, how to look up what classes are being offered, how to actually use the class schedule. Believe it or not, you have a different view of the class schedule than I do as an advisor, or Jen does as a SIT person. We don't see the same student view that you do, so you're really a great resource for them in that area. We ask that you share your best advice from a student point of view about having a schedule that goes all 5 days of the week and that has a mix of maybe morning and afternoon classes and that isn't overloading on just 2 days of the week or having all evening classes. You know, share what you've learned in your own experience about what helps you be a successful student and do that in a way that sets a positive tone for the whole group. And then, just in case we didn't mention it before, keeping students on task in a positive way is something that we really appreciate. To us, the ideal class schedule that a student would leave with, like I said, it's not the same for everybody. CLA students have a wide variety of interests. We have a lot of different majors, so you're going to see a lot of different class schedules at the end of the day. But overall, they should all pretty much be in the 14 to 16 credit range. There's some students who they and their advisor will discuss and agree that they're going to take a little bit lighter load. Maybe they're a fall sport athlete, or they have to work a lot off campus, or they have a family. And so there might be situations where students are just going to take 12 or 13 credits, but most are probably going to leave with 14 to 16. Those classes really, hopefully, will match that individual student's interests and abilities, cover a wide variety of liberal education areas as opposed to just focusing on one narrow area. They're going to hopefully be courses that help a student explore a potential major by trying out a course that maybe fits into the major and covers a live ed at the same time. That are balanced across the week and have a wide variety of formats. So maybe some smaller classes like college writing or public speaking or foreign language or interpersonal communication, as well as trying a larger lecture class or two as well. And then in CLIR, students take UMD seminar, and they can choose either a 1 or a 2 credit. Will you have 2 credit sections?
We will have 2 credit pilots.
Okay, so either one is fine with us. Either one is good. So last notes, we talked already about how it's important to us that students don't register until after they meet with a faculty advisor. It's also really important to me, and you will notice me walking around reminding people of this, that I want the student to do the registering. Students learn best when they're actually, the new students are going to learn best when they're actually doing their own registration, not when you're doing it for them. So we want them to sort of start developing that muscle memory of how did I add that class? How did I swap a class? And you can coach them from right next, the chair next door, but I want them to be doing the registration. And then as Eddie said, we're there all day. We'll be there after you leave. So, you know, we won't leave until you're done. If you have the last student, we'll be there the whole time with you. And we're always there to help and troubleshoot and answer questions. So. Do you have any questions for us? I know that we probably just talked really, really fast.
I just want all this information on you.
So I do think it helps, kind of like Vince talked about earlier, if you can listen to his presentation. After Addie does the group introduction, sometimes it's helpful to listen to Gail or me or whoever's doing the presentation that day about how to choose classes, because then you can kind of start to hear some of those messages that we're delivering. Not that you would have to listen every single day for 3 weeks in a row, but maybe the first day or two. And you know, just so that you can kind of hear what we're telling students about how to choose appropriate classes.
Questions?
Well, thank you so much. We're so excited.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hiddleston, and I work in CHSP. I advise predominantly education and CSD majors.
I'm Jamie Battaglia, and I advise psychology.
And so we are here to tell you a little bit about the dog and pony show that happens in the CHSP. So we're going to start a little bit with some PowerPoint, and then transition into our website, and then transition into 2 games. Okay? So in CHSP, our afternoon advising model is a little bit more of a collaborative model. We do not have, per se, separate individual appointments with faculty advisors where they leave your table, like some of the other collegiate units have. And so within CEHSP, what kind of happens is you are assigned a table with yourself, a faculty advisor, and a professional advisor, and you guys work collaboratively to kind of help get those students registered. All of the new incoming students will have a connection with that faculty or professional advisor at your table at some point in the afternoon, but you will kind of just be tag teaming the students. And so if the faculty advisor is working with student A, maybe you're working with student B, C, and D to kind of start looking at some courses, but then it's kind of a rotating system throughout the afternoon. And so it seems like organized chaos at first, but after you kind of do it a couple times, it gets pretty easy to kind of work with. So that is kind of what to expect when you kind of come to the afternoon and see the advising structure. Our advising website is z.umn.edu/adbregtrain. And this is a website that we're using for both faculty advisors and student advisors, and so some information on here is specific to faculty advisors, and other information is specific to kind of you guys as student advisors. And so what we're going to do today is talk about kind of the outline of the afternoon and what to expect. And then in CEHSP, as student advisors, you will see the students' folders. And so we will talk a little bit about the folder contents. Okay? So we're going to start with the outline. So here is kind of the overall outline of what happens within CEHSP. On the right-hand side, you will kind of see the morning timeline. time, and on the left you'll see the afternoon, and then the middle content stays consistent, whether it's the morning or afternoon program. So, 8:30 in the morning or 12:30, we expect you guys to be. We expect you guys to be in the rafters to help with setup and laptops and kind of getting everything organized. 8:50 to 8:55, students will kind of move from the collegiate welcome up to the rafters. And then 9 o'clock, Jamie or one will do her registration overview. At that point in time, we would like you to sit at the tables with the students because we might be doing something interactive with Jamie and the students or something like that. That you would kind of participate in, and we're still developing that. So we'll debrief you kind of as we know more about that. 9:20 is when faculty advisors or professional advisors will arrive. Same thing, 1:20. 9:30 or 1:30 is when we will start the actual advisement and registration kind of process. How it works is at your table, like I said, it will be yourself, all of the new incoming students, and then a professional or faculty advisor. What will happen is first thing we'll have table introductions. So you will, faculty advisor, professional advisor will introduce themselves. You'll do a little introduction, and then all the students will do an introduction. And typically, a lot of the faculty professional advisors will let you guys lead that in terms of, if you want to ask students a question or things like that. Program overview, the faculty advisor will then go over a brief program overview on what the major requirements are, degree requirements are for the students at the table. All of the students that you are working with at one table will all have the same major, or the same, with the exception of secondary education. They'll all be high school teachers, but they might be different content. And so in general, that whole table will be the same major with kind of that same professional or faculty advisor. After they go through the program overview, at that point in time, it kind of becomes a tag teaming effort. The faculty advisor will probably start with one student and look through their file, and you will kind of start looking at with the other students to kind of choose some classes. And then when that student gets done, they'll have kind of the courses, and then you will kind of help with registration. The faculty advisor will move to the next student. And so it's kind of like a clockwise motion where the faculty advisor is making their way around the table, and you are kind of working with course selection kind of as they connect with each of the students at your table. Your role, like CLA and Addie and Suzanne just said, is to kind of keep the table moving in terms of students. And so if this faculty advisor is working with students, we still want you to be building a schedule with the other students in terms of helping them choose courses that they might be interested in. So then when they get to the faculty advisor, they can kind of already have something down that they're interested in, so we can kind of keep the process moving. Then you will help the students register for classes. Some of our faculty advisors are comfortable doing registration too. And so between the two of you, sometimes they'll be like you register all of the students, or some faculty members will help register students also. Registration verification, all of our students in their advising file will have a advisement registration guide, and on that guide it will have at the bottom a place for their professional advisor or faculty advisor to sign up that they verified it, and so they will be doing that kind of after they're formally registered. Then we'll collect the folders, we keep the folders, and return your iPads and laptops, then U-card, and then a mini tour, kind of CHSP, and then check out. The mini tour, I'm not, since this is new to all of us, I don't know if it's something that we're going to have enough time to do or not. And so if you're seeing that it's getting close to the end of time and there isn't enough time to do it, then you just won't do it. But if you have enough time, or if you see the U-card line is, too long, and it's kind of, I don't know what to expect. I don't think a lot of us know what to expect. And so, the biggest thing is we want them registered in appropriate classes, and so that's the number one thing. And then the other things are kind of, obviously, we want them to get their U-card, but if they can't have a mini tour, they'll get something hopefully like that during fall. So that is kind of the overall structure of our program. Questions about that? Okay. So, just to kind of show you a little bit about our website, so you can, we So up here, there's the outline and then a link to the A&R training Moodle that Travis and Justin had made, so you can access that through here. Faculty resources, that's specifically for faculty advisors. There's some information on registration and course selection. Again, it's predominantly for faculty advisors to learn how to use the course class search and course descriptions and things like that, but you're more than welcome to utilize those, and then just some advising resources. So now Jamie is going to talk about
Okay. So, like Lisa had said, we're a little bit different than other units where we allow you guys to see the students' folder content as well. Just because when we're doing this collaborative effort with the faculty advisor, you also play a really large role in it. I'm assuming you guys have gone all over confidentiality and FERPA.
Oh, not yet.
not yet.
Well, you will. The importance of not being like, oh, guess what, I met with a student today and this is blah, blah, blah. Don't be doing that, okay? It's private between you and the student at that time. And if there's something like because we're all at one table, if there's like a student contract in a folder or something like that, try to be a little bit more discreet and not be like, oh, you have a contract in your folder, what's it say? Like, they might, maybe that would embarrass them, maybe it wouldn't embarrass them. But just so that, even though you're sharing a table, you're still kind of keeping it a little bit more personal between you and the student at a time, and then overall with everyone, because they have similar majors, you can talk about like recommended courses together. But on the student's folder, you may or may not know, but this is all the information that's going to be listed on their table. We often have people come up to our information table and ask us what the student's username is, or what their ID number is. It's all right there on their label. And their major, and their, if they're considered a new transfer student or a new high school student. Then inside is the student admission profile, or we call it the SAP. And this has tons of information about the student's college that they're in, which will be CHSP, their declared major, also known as like their academic plan, their name, ID number, address, and then we'll look at on the bottom there you see student groups. Those are going to be flags for information to be aware of when coming down to register for a student. So say a student's already got credit for grade 1120, it'll get posted on there. If a student's their math placement will be on there, so when you're looking at what is the first math course a student can take, you can look at their math placement. And on the advising guide, we will have on the back of that sheet the recommended courses based on math placement. If there's any holes in a student record, there shouldn't be, but in case there is, would the immunization show up there already? If they attended a different university, information would be on there, and then their high school courses, rank, and their ACT scores. If a student has taken an ACT score more than once, the highest score they earn is the one that we use when determining placement into courses. If they have an English ACT of a 32 or above, they're exempt from grade 1120. But we would also be noting all this on their folder.
This is something to be familiar with. Like, you're not going to have to be like, oh, this person has this, therefore they're taking this. That's something that the faculty advisor more or less does. But just so you're kind of familiar with it, that if a student brought up something and the faculty advisor was busy or something, you would at least have some familiarity with that.
Yes. And we will have prepped all the folders beforehand, so a lot of this information is going to be straightforward right on the advisor guide. So each student is going to have an advisor guide based on what their declared major is at the time. We'd also have extra courses or sheets in our band in case they decide to change their major the day of. But this is what it would look like. And like I said, we already have checked off what their writing placement is, what their math placement group is. But in case you have questions of why it is that they're in that one, that's where that math ACT score comes in. If they have a high school preparation deficiency, that will be noted there and what they're missing. And we list on there what the recommended courses are. We want the student to enroll in that their first semester, if possible. PSEO, CIS courses, AP, IB exams, all that. And then we have a list of recommended courses based on each major. And those are the courses if the student student already doesn't have credit for any of them, encouraging them to take their first semester. They'll write in what courses they registered for in that table there, and then the student and the advisor have to sign a date this fall. And it stays in the folder and gets turned back into us.
And so when you're working with a student, you're predominantly going to look at that course recommended area and help them start looking at courses in that area. If a student has a question on why am I taking college algebra, you know, you can, if you feel comfortable answering that question, you can, or you can refer them to the faculty advisor too and say, hey, you know, this is kind of based on your math placement score. And then that course registration area is where you will want to fill in the courses that with the student, have the student fill in the courses that they're registering for.
Other things in the folder, or the folder will be the catalog worksheets. Is that anything specific? Okay. It will be their specific major, outlining what the major is. There's a lot of the content that's in the catalog right now. If you were to just look up the online catalog. And then courses that are within the major, so the student can take that with them. So they understand all the degree requirements for their particular major. We also have the 2-for-1 worksheets. This one highlights what courses within a specified major also overlap with liberal education. So the student can be doing what we call a 2-for-1 and not having to take additional courses to satisfy a liberal education course when they could have taken one that also meets requirements within their specified major. And this is just, there may be a student who has a contract or high school prep deficiency, transfer work, etc.
So the biggest thing in CHSP is, you know, within their folder, kind of looking at that advisor guide. If they have any transfer work, we will have that indicated on their catalog worksheet. And then you're just kind of working in kind of a collaborative role with the faculty advisor the entire time. And we encourage, you know, like Suzanne and Addie were talking about at least 15 credits for that first semester of coursework that goes towards their degree also. So questions about folder, course selection, registration at all? Okay, so now we are going to do the little activity that we passed up. So everybody who has a clock first, if you can come up and line up in the front here based on the order of your time. Okay? So we'll start with that. From, you know, 8:30 to 12:30 to
I handed them all
12:30 to 4:30.
In the order that I did.
Okay? Okay.
Remember on your pen? I might use it for the rest of the time. I'll give it back at the end.
It's all good.
Yep. Okay, so now everybody else, if you can come up and go in the place where you think you belong in terms of the outline. If you guys want to
spread out. Yeah, you guys have to spread out because you're real close. There's nothing wrong. That's going to be the worst inside joke for A&R. But navigate fine. No, that's not a joke though, that's a serious one. That's fine. Yeah, we'll work that out this year.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah.
I know that this is going to be that's great.
Oh yeah, Megan, I changed your size.
I'll set the time and then you can say what happens at bedtime, okay? So 8:30 or 12:30.
New students move from the collegiate welcome to Raptors.
But that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Right here.
They already made it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Student advisors arrived in Raptors. Yes.
Correct.
And then go collegiate.
And then 8:50, 12:50.
Yep, those are the.
Are we done?
We're missing. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. Yep, okay. And then 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's me. Registration overview and presentation.
Perfect. 9:20, 1:20.
Faculty, professional, advisors, guide.
Correct. 9:30 and 1:30. So,
Advisement and registration.
Okay.
Directions.
yep.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so table introductions is the first one. Okay, second one.
Program overview.
Yep. Yep.
Registration or verification.
Perfect.
Card. Mini tour.
And where is laptop, iPad? Okay, so you're before you card, just so you know. So this is kind of the overall, just to kind of get you guys up and kind of doing, this is kind of the overall timeline. And so you have to kind of a little interact. Okay? Okay, thank you. You can keep your chairs.
Yeah, it works.
You do it like right before you leave to get your card.
Both, but like morning and afternoon?
Yep.
Yeah, because we're only on either a morning program or an afternoon.
Oh,
program.
yeah, we're
We
not
won't
on-
be on the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're either or option. All right. We are now going to play A&R Advisor Training Jeopardy to see if you guys are paying attention during our lovely PowerPoint. We're going to just split you guys into two teams, this half the room versus this half the room. And there are some really fun prizes.
And we're not gonna, wait.
We won't have time to go through the whole thing since we started late, but we'll play for just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Team 1 is over here, and you guys who's the spokesperson.
Registration for 100.
Okay. This is the link where a student goes to register for classes.
Class schedule. Sorry. Class schedule, everyone. Class search, okay. What is it? Yeah, what's class search?
Oh, that's
Register for classes. I did hear someone kind of mumbling out right before it. Where's my, hold on. Here we go, we have to be in this mode so I can keep it. Okay, team 2.
Spokesperson, Chris, you're up.
Advising for 100.
Low stakes game.
Prepare individuals to lead productive and socially responsible lives in a diverse and rapidly changing world.
What are sustainability?
Think broad.
What about
Yes, what is liberal education?
They're fun.
This does go to 500, you just can't see them all.
Okay, we'll do, no, I guess, okay. Advising for 500.
There you go, that's what I'm talking about.
document created by the transfer specialist in the office of the registrar after reviewing equivalency of transfer work from previous institutions.
Yeah, what is the?
Yes, already said. What is the transfer course evaluation? Team 2.
You're gonna go 500.
Completed by an academic advisor in the Advising and Academic Services Office. It includes course placement information, recommended courses. This is used as a document for recommended courses for the first semester of registration. What is what?
Is that the staff?
No. It is the advising guide. This We'll do one more question each.
All right, we'll go advising for 400.
Do it.
Yeah.
Student enrolls in college coursework at a local college prior to graduating from high school.
What is PSEO?
Correct.
That was our question.
Team 2.
Let's go registration.
That one's already done. I think. No, it's not. Registration for 500 is open. Here we are. When looking at courses on the class schedule that have a lecture and lab discussion component, the lecture part of the course is listed here in relation to the lab. Yes!
Okay, so we're going to stop our game because Stacy's here from the School of Fine Arts, and we started a little bit late, so we didn't have time to go through it all. But we brought pencils for all of you guys. These pencils we will have in our advising cart that we bring with us. And so if a student forgot their pencil or lost their pencil, you can get one from our advising cart. Any questions? Okay, thank you guys.
Travis will give them to you. Not now, but I was going to toss them with a free Sharpie and that. Thank you.
Yes, so this is Stacy Crawford from SFA Advising Office. I'll let her take it away.
Thanks. Thanks for being here, everyone. How long have you been sitting?
For
3.
3 hours an hour.
Wow, okay, a while. Here's what we're going to do really quick, because I like to know who you are. Many of you I know. It's very exciting to see those familiar faces. But very quickly, I'm going to have you just kind of go around and say just your first name and your major, okay? And then I get to know you a little bit, right? And you get to at least do some copying. This was a very hard act to follow, I think. So anyway, Ben, can you start?
You're fine.
You can stand up if you want, and then you get to move too. That would be good. You could do a jump. That would even be better. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ben. I am in the integrated elementary and special education.
Hi, my name is Kevin, and I'm a management information systems major.
I'm Jessa. I'm a teaching communication arts and literature major.
I'm Erin, I'm teaching social studies major.
I'm Taylor, and I'm teaching social studies major.
I'm Elise, and I'm a psychology major.
I'm Jessica, and I'm organizational management and MIS major.
My name is Chris Boulder, and I'm an exercise science major.
I'm Alexa, and my major is biology.
I'm Morgan, my major, solid molecular biology.
I'm Sarah, and I'm statistics actuarial science major.
I'm Cassie, and I'm a math major.
I'm Caitlin, and I'm chemistry major. And I'm Tate, I'm major in graphic design and state my advisor. Communication and Sciences and the Arts.
I'm Megan. I'm a vocal music education major.
I'm Kenzie. I'm a healthcare management major.
I'm Mike, and I'm an urban studies major.
I'm Emily. I'm a communication major.
I'm Ryan. I'm a cell and molecular biology major.
I'm Mason. I'm a finance major.
I'm Cholo. I'm a bio major. I'm John. I'm a chemistry and biochemistry major.
I'm Lauren O, and I'm a accounting and human resources management major.
I'm Amy. I'm an English and communication arts management major.
I'm Crystal. I'm an international studies major. I'm Emily, and I'm a biochemistry major.
I'm Justin, and I'm a communication major.
I'm Travis, communications, journalism.
Excellent. That's awesome. Did you? Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, great. Well, I want to say thank you very much for what you're willing to do here. And one of the things that we think about this time in School of Fine Arts that is very important about advising and registration is that students have fun. I'm going to be sort of, a lot of the things that you learned are wonderful foundations for me because then I don't have to cover those things. But one of the things I think is really important about this day for students, and now with this new shorter format for us, we're all going to be kind of going, wow, we're going to be looking at this, does this work for us? But it's to create a memorable experience for them, to make sure that they have their questions answered and that they feel like they're doing the right thing. Like, maybe you all talked about this in your training, but your experience with this particular day when you came and registered will all come back to you. This is sort of like, you know, you might have looked at those people who helped you like you were the little kindergartners and they were the people in junior high or senior high. That's what they feel like, the students coming in. They have deer in the headlights a little bit. Sometimes in the School of Fine Arts, like with any other major, students are wondering, have I chosen the right thing? Parents might say to their students, well, what about that math class? Are you taking Phi Ed? You know, so they've got all of these different forces happening for them on that day, and they come, and now we're going to kind of summarize our information that we're giving to them and expect things to move along really quickly, and we just want that to be a really smooth, seamless day for them. So my first advice to you is that if you see a student who is struggling, who is looking concerned, that you point that out, whether it's my collegiate unit or any other collegiate unit. That you make sure, we don't want to hear later that a student went away, you know, this sounds horrible, but crying because they were upset and didn't feel good about their classes or something of that nature. We want to know about that and make sure that everything is okay with them. The School of Fine Arts at UMD, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about us that makes us very different than the other collegiate units that you're going to be working with. The School of Fine Arts at UMD is, of course, the smallest college. Many of you already know that. We're also very different in what we do. Our lovely concerts that you see, our shows in the theater, and I'm going to ask, how many of you have seen a concert or seen a theater show or been in the Tweed at some point? Great. All of those are actually showing you, showcasing the work that our students do in the classes. So they're really related. They're not just concerts for fun because it's really cool to do a concert. Of course they're fun to do, but they're related directly to the courses that our students are taking. So our classes are very hands-on. Our programs are very hands-on. Our programs are also very prescriptive. So you're not going to have to figure out a lot of stuff. The advising guide that CEHSP showed you, we will have a document like that in the student file as well. And we're still, I'm testing a couple of them, and ours is a lot more simple looking, but it will have recommended courses there. So you won't have to be making those decisions. The biggest decisions that you'll help the students make in the School of Fine Arts will be about what liberal education classes you might suggest for them. So most of the other work will be done for you. The other things that are different about School of Fine Arts, so we have a production arm. We actually own Glensheen. We own the Tweed Museum. You know, we have the Marshall Performing Arts Center. We have the Weber. We're running a business here. It's a totally, you know, it's sort of like LSBE that has the Small Business Institute and that kind of thing, or the Blue Heron as part of the Swenson College of Science and Engineering. But we're running a business here, and that business is interrelated to our academics. So we have our 5 collegiate units, and then within School of Fine Arts, we actually have 5 different units, including Glen Sheen, the Tweed, and then our departments. So it's very different. Our student to faculty ratio, it says it's 19:1, but in the School of Fine Arts, we know our students individually. For the most part, we know our students. And so when I sometimes hear a tour guide, for example, and if some of you are probably tour guides, talking about, you know, sometimes that 2-year, you're going to be taking liberal education classes and they're really big. That is not true in the School of Fine Arts. Our students are taking classes that are 20 students or less in many cases. It's very individualized. So that student that has a music lesson will also have that faculty member for an advisor. So it's a really different, it's kind of like a small college within the bigger university here at UMD. Very different experience. Many of you, and I thank you for this too, are involved in marching band, pep band, some of our ensembles, and those are big questions that you will hear over and over from any people that you're meeting with, whether they're engineering folks and mathematic folks or teaching people, you know, all across the colleges. You're going to find interest in marching band, pep band, and you'll find interest in our ensembles. You have some great sources here. Ben can help you with marching band, pep band. If you have students that are interested in those ensembles, the last page of your training manual has the ensemble information. However, it doesn't give the times. And I thought you were going to get a different one. I'll give you one that has the times for those to meet. So marching band, pep band, really open to anyone. Concert band, open to anyone, okay? Concert chorale, open to anyone. And I think it might say that. You should look, it's maybe not the last page, but the second to the last page. Anything else, vocal jazz, that's a popular one. Or university singers, chamber singers, jazz combos, jazz ensembles. Those are audition only. And I think it indicates that in the handout, yeah? Good. But what I'd like to give you too would be the times that they meet. So sometimes what we'll do for a person who has those music interests, they'll say, well, I'd really like to try out for the orchestra. And we'll say, okay, here's when it meets. Leave room in your schedule. One of the interesting things about our classes in music is that they meet over at Chester Park, just like communication science disorder classes. So that's something to pay attention to on the schedule. The one thing, I'm not going to go on for too much longer, just cover a few basic things, but the one thing I want you to remember, if you happen to be advising a music student, is please do not exclaim, oh my gosh, you take 9 classes? Or 11? Music majors take quite a few classes, some of which are 1-credit classes. And so when you look at that schedule, to you, you may say, whoa, that looks really daunting. Please try to cover your shock, or just sort of let them know that it's going to be okay. And probably Megan will be working with those students many times. She'll be working with music students. But I often put educators with our music students because it's the same kind of thing that navigating all these different courses and sort of the time management piece. That, students, you all had to figure out your own time management, didn't you? There aren't any secrets to it, exactly. We will tell students that 15 credits is pretty average load for us. You will see musical theater students, though, who are starting out at 17 and 18. Some of our musical theater students, current students, they take over 20 credits. So, and I know some other majors do that as well, but that won't be what we're prescribing for these new students coming in. But please, again, don't be so shocked by the music courses. It's doable and we put it together. The beauty about our prescriptive advising is that all of our courses fit together. So those people in theater, all their classes fit together. The students in art and design, we may opt to do this schedule builder. We're still talking about that. Plug in the classes you need and do schedule builder. Have you talked about that much here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. How many of you have used schedule builder yourself? Okay, so you know there's ins and outs. In the School of Fine Arts, one of the other things you'll bump up against is that we have a permission number thing for many of our classes. I will always be there, and Lindsay Brown, who's not here today, she will always be there too, and we'll be able to provide a permission number if the faculty who's advising has not done that. So don't worry about that either. So the day will look very similar, that our structure is very similar to CEHSP, and in that generally we have faculty advisors, the department heads will come, we have our students grouped by table, and we try to have about 4, maybe 5 students at a table. By major, we will be putting our transfer students with our majors, you know, so that they're with their like people. And they will most often have a faculty advisor with them. 2 of our department heads are going to be gone to Italy for a trip that is throughout the entire time we have advising. So we have an alumni coming back, Jenny Hildebrandt, who was a peer advisor in our office for many years, and she also worked in advising. She's very knowledgeable. She's going to be with us almost every day.
She was me last year.
Yep, she was here last year, yeah. So she's very helpful, and she can answer many of the same questions that I can or that Lindsay can. So she'll be our faculty advisor. And then we'll have probably one of our current peer advisors, Zach Carlson, might be helping with music a little bit. And then we will have Jane Ebersviller in art and design. I call her the mother of art. She's very knowledgeable as well. So it's a little different this year for us, but we want people to be with their friends, folks they'll be majoring with, and get to know them a little bit. And then when you get done with that advising process, or when we have indicated to them the courses that they'll be taking, talked a little bit about that program, you'll simply help them register, and then you'll have time to take them to UCARD to do the mini tours. We don't structure it in a staggered sort of a way or anything like that. We just try to make it free and enjoyable for people, meeting people's needs. If they want to go on a tour, great. If they don't, that's okay too. Do you have questions at all?
Can I just make a comment really quick?
Please.
So for the ensembles, this is for students who aren't music majors as well. So like if a student says that they're like, I'm in choir band at school, tell them that they should sign up for an ensemble. Concert band and concert choir meet for an hour twice a week. And granted, it's at night, but Concert Chorale actually moved their rehearsals back to campus, so more people would be involved in it.
Liberal education credit.
Yeah, and they fulfill the LE credits, and then also, if there's ones that they want to be in, like they want to be in University Singers, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, they meet for an hour and a half every single day of the week for 1 credit, that's nuts. Yep. But if they are like super in choir or whatnot and they want to do that, tell them to do that. And also for the music students, really their class, every single class is scheduled for like, every single thing is in there for you. You really pick 1 or 2 liberal education credits and or classes, and that's all.
Yep. Yeah, so most of our programs they'll have all the required classes and then just 1 or 2 liberal education, maybe 3, depending on if they're doing a Bachelor of Arts. One thing to note, this year we seem to have a record number of people wanting double majors. Double majors in music and math, double majors in music and physics, double majors in art and design and music. So if you hear someone talking about a double major, please just let me know and let me come and talk to them, because like a double major in integrated education, let's just say, and music or something, no way, no how, 8 years, okay? So we need to have that somewhat realistic conversation up front. but people wanting a Bachelor of Arts in one thing and a Bachelor of Arts in something else, great. We can usually make that work. So if you hear that, let me know.
Any questions?
Anything else?
All right, let's get Stacy.
You remember what it was about?
No.
You said dress code. Oh, no, we'll do, trust me, you really want to have more time for the dress code.
Okay. While Stacy was starting, I handed out white sheets to everyone. That is availability for August. We do have 2 days for A&R in August. If you are not available, that is fine. Just leave it blank or just write I'm not available. If you are, and I know it's really, really far out to plan, but I need to know because I need to schedule it. Yeah, if you need to take it and give it back to me either next week or a different time, do that. Either bring it to SCC 42 or just bring it to training.
I'm sorry, it's not okay if you can't do it. You have to do time in August. I desperately need your warm, smart, intelligent bodies those days. More so than I need you during May term. When we asked you to take this job, we said you there's a date in August. I need you to say, sorry, other job, I'm so sick. And then come here or plan ahead. Don't plan vacation. You're so much nicer than I am. I want to see you here in August. I love you that much. I will bake for you that day. It will make you come August, what, 12th and 13th. But like, I'm serious. It's not like, see, Travis doesn't care because he's graduating, so you won't be there. But like, Justin and I cannot advise 100X number of students. Yeah, so like, I need you to get your together and be there for me in August. Sorry. I don't know how to make that more impassioned if possible. You can't do me to discuss consent. Anybody can do that.
So I created a Facebook group for everyone. So if like you need like closer to 8R, you need to like swap schedules with someone, you're sick, you need someone to pick up your shit, or just for fun. Another resource for us outside of Moodle, because Moodle's boring. This is the name of it. I don't know why I can't find everyone. So if you're on the University of Minnesota Duluth Network on Facebook, you should be able to see it. If not, shoot me an email and I'll invite you through email. I have 30 of you, and I'm missing 10 of you. So this is the name of it. If you see that you're not in it or you don't see it on your groups, then try and find it or shoot me an email.
I lied.
You lied.
He's gonna do the small groups next time.
Yes.
So now I will discuss dress code.
Go ahead.
Is there anything else on your agenda?
Yeah, no, you have 14 minutes.
Okay. Don't worry. We won't need, first of all, take a break, take a breather, relax a little, but you're not getting out of here yet. All right, this is why. We have very trendy uniforms. So let me explain. This is a job. I know this is going to blow some of your minds. You are student leaders in this position, but I am also, the institution has hired you to be the face, which is good because if I were the face, I'd have a stain swiped around in my yoga pants. So we are instituting what I believe is a cool uniform. Who was an advisor for the yellow polo era? Who was an advisor for the yellow sleeved baseball shirts? Was that an improvement? Yes. We are taking it a step further. I know, ready? So in the past, you had these totally heinous yellow polos that I want to point out. We made you return to us, we washed, and then we handed it to the next group of student advisors. Thank you. I'm like, hygiene 101, do not, no. So I'm going to give you 2 glorious shirts. And these gentlemen have decided that while the yellow does stand out, it may stand out a little too much. So they've opted for the same baseball shirt that says, those who can Duluth. We are not getting started on that. Those who can Duluth, with a number on the back that says advisor, with maroon sleeves.
It says 13. It says 13.
13.
Next year 14, it's on so forth.
So this is your swanky uniform. You get 2 of them. So here are some things we should talk about. I know that this is going to be May, and we'll be so excited because it should have stopped snowing by then. But this is an important chat. Gentlemen, you are welcome to wear the same thing that the ladies wear. Ladies, you're welcome to the things that gentlemen wear. This is the dress code. You will wear the shirt. The last ones were a little thin. So the people who may have worn their leopard print bra underneath, not so smart. So, you know, if these happen to come back that thin, I would ask people to appropriately undergarment themselves. Yeah, check, okay. So, you understand that? Anyone confused about that part? Okay, so the top. Listen, I don't even comb my hair most days. I'm not even get picky about that. This part, it's all you. Guys, you can be all like, neck beard, toes. Don't care. Clothing-wise, it is this shirt. Only, not, it'll be your sweet, sweet baseball tee, okay? That's the shirt you wear every time you advise, okay? If you forget your shirt, I'm going to give you one that's so small, you're going to look like a sausage casing. And I'm going to laugh at you. And you have to wear it, okay? You do not want this kind of hazing. I don't want to get fired. No fire. Okay, so. All right, so what do you wear? Baseball shirts. Appropriate undergarments to cover all the things. Here's the problem. And I'm sorry. Gentlemen, I would like you to wear shorts that are longer than khaki underwear. This is a problem. Most men wear shorts where the pockets go lower than their shorts. Oh, I'm sorry. No, ladies. This is kind of for the ladies. Gentlemen and ladies, you can wear khaki pants. You can wear jeans without holes. I prefer if your jeans didn't say things on the butt. But if there's no holes, I'll let you have something written on the behind, okay? But no hole jeans, perfectly appropriate khakis. Let's presume that May term is gloriously sunny and hot and sweaty and sweltering. Well, guess what? We're in the air-conditioned areas of Kirby. So, shorts need to be shorts or skirts. Gentlemen, feel free to wear kilts. Don't care. I don't care. I got no beef with that. Utility kilts are very comfortable. I know a lot of guys who are for hiking. Okay. Point is, these 3 fingers, put them above your kneecaps. If your shorts do not match that, you cannot wear them. Same thing with a skirt. It's not about the students. It's not about us. I don't care what you wear. You can just walk in with the shirt. I'd be like, what's up? I'm actually like, what's up? The point is, I need your shorts to be grandparent and parent appropriate. So your khaki shorts, ladies, I know you have this thing where I don't. I have longer shorts. But like some women have the really tiny khaki, I call it khaki underwear. It's like, what's your underwear look like? No. You see what I'm saying? I want this to be a funny and memorable moment so that you think, when you get dressed in the morning, would Jen Dobler approve? No. Would Jen Dobler's, not my mom, Jen Dobler's father, would Jen Dobler's father approve? That's kind of conservative. 3 fingers above the knee. So Bermuda shorts, they can be tight. They can be tight, I don't care. They can be skin tight. But they have to be long, okay? Is anybody confused about that? Does anybody feel like their wardrobe is not, if you need to go out and buy something, don't. I can warm something in your wardrobe. Bring me some pictures and I can be like, yes.
Like you said with like the air conditioning, are we allowed to have like a zip up?
No, you can't cover these shirts. So if you need to, you can put on a thermal under it. We had this problem last time. I need you to be easily identifiable so I can go, and grab you and push you somewhere else. You know what I mean? So yeah, no outerwear. If you get cold, you know, go ahead now.
Is there anything about shoes?
Okay, so let's talk about shoes. I don't care. Here's what I don't want. I wear Teva sandals all summer. By the end of summer, they smell like death. Like I've stepped into 2 dead turtles and I'm walking around in them. walking around. So if you're gonna run and do a mini tour in your 6-inch stilettos, and please don't wear thigh-high boots. But like otherwise, shoes I'm all be casual, be fun. But like that's your uniform. Shirt, appropriate coverage, length. Whatever.
And one thing to note, guys can wear khaki shorts as long as they're long enough.
3 inches above your knee. That's what I'm saying. Gentlemen, you can do whatever you want. If you just not the shorts. Not my dad's marathon man shorts. You know. I don't want a risk of anything sticking out. Go ahead.
Are there some color requirements for bottoms?
But preferably khakis or jeans, but black is fine.
Okay.
White is risky. This is risky. I mean, because you could fit in like ice cream. And then a donut. You could sit in the ice cream donut? Oh, a donut, just a donut. I'm like, what the hell is ice cream donut? But like, imagine you sit in that and then all of a sudden you're like walking around. I mean, just think about it. I don't care if it's a skirt bottom, I don't care if it's a pattern bottom, just khaki or jeans preferably, no holes, long enough. If you have to, I will send you home. I did this last year and it didn't go well. I don't want to send you home because I physically need you there. So please wear clothes. I might bring a couple extra of my skirts and put you in them instead. Gentlemen too. I'll bring some belts because keep calm down. All right, dress code. Again, I don't care about the hair or the neck beard or whatever. I care about here to knees. Here to knees. Okay. All right, any questions on dress code? Oh, anything else? I mean, I'm legitimately serious. Okay.
Okay, on your way out, name tags, and then if you filled out any kind of forms for me today, put them in this bin, and then make sure to bring back your availability for